We have newsroom, Sabrina.
Right, where we have representatives from the Filipino Community of Guam. We have James Robinson. He is the president of the FCG. Loisa Kabuhat, the assistant treasurer, and my dear friend Roy Adonai, who is with the Filipino Community of Guam Board of Trustees. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. And once again, good morning to my fellow kababayans out there, our president, Mr. James Robinson, and of course, our very, very hardworking officer, Ms. Loisa Kabuhat. And I know I see over there Speaker Tina Mune Barnes, and I'll mention something about her. But, as you know, we'd like to just let the people know about what is going on and what the Filipino community Guam is doing. I'm going to have our president discuss about the Filipino community, and then also have Ms. Loisa discuss about the efforts that we're doing. But I'd like to probably give some update as to what happened and what is currently happening in the Philippines. Well, in November 1st of this year, a super typhoon, and it was placed at category 5, and it is the biggest typhoon that ever landed anywhere else on Earth for this actually year. It caused 26 deaths, 6 people missing, and destruction of over $400 million worth of properties in the Philippines. As the people of the Philippines are recovering in the northern part of the Philippines, which is the Luzon area, another super typhoon, category 4, actually landed in the Philippines in November 11. This one actually caused more deaths. As of today, there were 73 bodies that were found, 19 people are missing, and countless of people have actually been hurt. Many people are still actually don't have any homes, still don't have any proper drinking water, and really scrounging for food out there. We, the people of Guam, has always been a long history of helping the Philippines. So when we heard about this thing, it is just really upon us to really mobilize our folks here in Guam to be able to assist. This devastation is really ongoing. It's going to be a long recovery process. In fact, as of today, in Metro Manila, the main water supplier for Metro Manila is going for rotational service, at least 1 week of no water per area. The reason being is that the multitude of silt that actually went into the water processing plants had prevented them from supplying proper drinking water, not only on the most ravaged area, but majority of Metro Manila. So the damage is really continued to happen even as of today. Many places are still flooded. Flood actually went to all the way to past the second floor of people's homes. Rice field has been wiped out. It used to be a rice field. Now it looks like lakes. And up to this moment of time, it still actually is going on. Typhoon Ulysses has really dumped so much water, and it is just an unprecedented flooding that occurred in many areas. So we are actually pleading upon that one. I'd like to give the floor to Mr. James Robinson about the history and what the Filipino Community Guam is doing.
Good morning, Mr. Robinson. Thank you for coming on the show. You need to unmute. There you go.
I thank you, Roy. Thank you, Lusa. I thank you, KUM, for accommodating us today. Well, the Filipino Community of Guam have been around here in Guam for so many years. This was founded in 1954. I joined the FCG in the late 70s or early 80s. And I participated in so much relief efforts to not only here in Guam, in the Philippines, in Saipan, and other small islands. The Filipino community in Guam is always committed to help those who are in need. We did a lot of donations, like shelters at Ipa Beach in Tamuning. We did a lot of donations to GMH, the Red Cross, the American Cancer Society, Reka's House, Guam Homeless Coalition, the Museum, Catholic Social Services, and others. And again, we know what happened in the Philippines. There was a time that there was a big typhoon that hit later again. It's not Yolanda, it's before Yolanda, wherein mud flood covered the whole elementary school and killed most of the students that was there because during school time. So what the Filipino Community of Guam did is we again asked the help of the people of Guam, the good-hearted people of Guam, for donations, and we erected a clinic. We built a clinic in that parts of Leyte for the people of that area, a public health clinic. And the president, then Mr. Vega, went to that place physically and some others to distribute goods because it's really devastating. Kids were killed, school children, all of them. And so those are just a few of the civic things that the Filipino Community of Guam. Then came Typhoon Yolanda that hit late again, summer and other parts of the Philippines. And so now we are back to same thing in Marikina during Typhoon Ondoy. We sent a lot of help through the help of the people of Guam, of course, because we always generated money from the good people of Guam. And we sent the 40-footer container of medical supplies in coordination, in cooperation with the Ajuda Foundation, headed by then former Senator Caleta Leon Guerrero and Senator Jim Espaldon. And so here we are, another calamities hit the Philippines, and we are asking the people of Guam for their benevolent help again, so we can help these people. Actually, just yesterday, the Filipino Community of Guam, through myself, remitted the amount of 100,000 pesos, equivalent dollars, 2,100 some dollars, which is equivalent to 100,000 pesos, through the Sagip Kapamilya of ABS-CBN, and we remitted that to PNB because that's where the account is. So may we all ask again your help to disseminate this to the people of Guam, so we can continue help those people that are in needs. Also during typhoons, I don't know the name, but in Saipan, the latest in Saipan, the Filipino Community of Guam came again, and we donated $5,000 to help our brothers in Saipan. Thank you.
Thank you.
And to probably discuss about our efforts now over here on Guam and how people can actually help, our dear officer Loisa Kabuhat will be able to inform all the listeners out there.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Yes, just to inform the Guam community that the Filipino Community of Guam is spearheading a fundraising campaign to be able to provide assistance to the victims of Super Typhoon Rolly and Ulysses. So far, we have an advance donation from FCG Calamity Funds that has already been remitted to ABS-CBN, Lingkod Kapamilya Foundation. And many individuals and business donations from Guam community are starting to pour into FCG. So for those organizations who would like to donate individually or as an organization, you may contact any of the following FCG officers and Board of Trustees, and arrangement will be made to pick up your donation. We have our President James Robinson at 687-5435. Treasurer Beth Sena, 988-6860. Yours truly, Loisa Kabuhat at 727-6880. And our Board of Trustee, Roy Adonai at 482-8325. We also have donation drop boxes at National Office Supply in Tamuning and Rambis Restaurant at the Micronesia Mall Food Court. We also have an ongoing distribution of coin boxes to some groceries and offices. At this time, a check donation must be made out to the Filipino Community of Guam. And because of the pandemic, only cash donation will be accepted.
And for those of you who are interested in probably putting a can into your stores or businesses, you may contact us and then we'll be gladly drop off those particular cans. Our fundraising effort actually started a couple days ago or exactly on Monday, and we'll be ending this fundraising effort by December 30th of this year. And as what Ms. Loisa had indicated, we've been really overjoyed by the overwhelming support by many. We've been getting calls like, can you just guys pick up the what do you call the check? And I'd like to just recognize the although I know she's in mute now, we have Speaker Tina Munya Barnes over here on the right hand side. She actually, like, I just saw her in the one of the Filipino stores here, and then I mentioned to her about the fundraising, and right away she opened up her wallet and said, please extend my donation to what do you call it, the Filipino community. Speaker Tina, you want to say something about that?
Thank you so very much, Roy. And in times like this, as a community, we continue to come together. And, we were there at a store for a blessing of at Susie Friars. And when you were sharing with me this drive, what better way than to give back? We've got so many Filipino families here, and I think this is the right thing for our community to do, is continue to step up when our family and friends are in need. And just thank you for sharing your thoughts, and thank you for accepting what small donation, but a donation to help out in any way. And I'm willing to take one of the cans and we can share it with our colleagues and see how we can help out also. So thank you. God bless you. And to the FCG community of Guam, thank you for always being involved in the community and helping out when in need and going the extra mile.
Well, thank you, what do you call it, Speaker Tina, about that one. Bria, I'd just like to just say the word that we've been using for Filipino Community Guam over here is that we're very elated that the bayanihan spirit, the spirit of helping one another, is really much alive here on Guam. And we have not even fully started. This is our first media interview about this, but since Monday, help has really been pouring in, and I could not say more about the generosity of people. And just note, the donations are not just coming from Filipinos. I mean, like, look at Speaker Tina Munya Barnes and everybody over there. We have even been a lady who's currently unemployed, and she heard about our plea, and she actually texted me, and she happened to know my number, and she asked me, I'm currently unemployed, but I really would like to help. I collected a jar worth full of coins out here. Would you be willing to accept my donation? So this particular lady, who's hurting because she's not currently working, was able to put all her coins in a bag and actually brought it into our drop-off point and provided that, everything practically that she has in there. And she went through her couch and her car and all the house, and she brought it in there. And it's really heartwarming. It gave me goosebumps knowing that, a person like that, who probably hurting at this moment in time, still found something within herself, knowing that there are other people who are suffering somewhere else in this part of the world. So, I could not just like feel the overwhelming, heartwarming thing of the people of Guam over here.
Loisa, just real quickly, the drop-off points at National Office Supply and Ramby's at the Micronesian Mall. So you're accepting non-perishable food items, or what
No.
are you accepting?
I'm sorry, Sabrina, but at this time we are only accepting cash donation.
Just cash. Okay, got it.
Yes.
All right.
It's kind of like hard for us because of the COVID thing on making sure that those items we donate are COVID-free, and it's also the difficulty of how to be able to bring those goods from us. So the board met up and said, there's an immediate needs, let's try to.
Right.
We're actually focusing on items such as the one that we're going to be purchasing for them in the Philippines: food items, safe drinking water, and also blue tarp to be able to cover, to be able to have something on top of their head. Because remember, thousands of
On my
people
behalf.
don't have homes.
Right. I'm sorry. Was there? Go ahead, Roy.
Oh, so we have partnered up with many organizations because it'll be difficult. I mean, they're still quarantined from one place to another in the Philippines. So we actually pick 5 areas. The need is really great, but we can only help so much. So we have actually picked 5 areas that's been devastated by the typhoon. One is the Cagayan Valley. Second is the Catanduanes, an island that has really been denuded and still continue to be flooded. We have the Marikina, the shoe capital in the Philippines, that has been, in fact, my parents are home there, and thankfully we only had 1 inch of water that went into the house, but we were in the high area. Many of our neighbors over there, they were actually, and I sent you some photos, right? And then,
Yes.
and many of those people ended up surviving by actually sitting on top of their homes for probably a couple of days because the flood is like ravaging in there. So I mean, there's also hygiene kit that we were just thinking, and we also are working with the San Mateo Rizal and Rodriguez Rizal, as well as some areas in Bicol. I mean, many people can call and said like, oh, there have been damages up over here, but our FCG board kind of like dissected where can we actually be of help. So the selection process went, were there, how much damages occurred in that particular place, how accessible is that place for us to be able to provide, do we have a contact people in there to be able to provide many of this what do you call it, goods or monetary donations that are collected over here in Guam. We have many other fundraising efforts that we are wanting to do. I know that we're going to be very creative. In the past, we've been very creative about trying to solicit money. And, you know, if I'm just thinking, right, that if there's 160,000 people over here in Guam, and let's take out the kids, or to 60,000, let's leave adults here in Guam with this 100,000, that if each one of us can just probably dig into our pocket and take $1 alone, that will be $100,000 to be able to provide. $1 is probably, you miss your Coke or Pepsi for the day, right? You know, you miss about like probably puffing your favorite cigarette for the day for that one. But note that $1 goes a long way in providing much needed food, water, and temporary shelter for many of those people. And we thank once again KUM. Bree, you're the first one who responded and said, yes, what do you call it, Roy? We'd like to be able to discuss this thing up in our show. And we really thank also all the many members of the Filipino Community of Guam, the leadership of Mr. James Robinson, and the hardworking effort of Ms. Loisa Kabuhat and many of our other members out there. We are really overwhelmed with the support.
All right. Well, we thank you, Roy. You know I got you. Thanks for calling me. And Loisa, thank you, and Mr. Robinson. Roy, if you could just shoot me those numbers, just WhatsApp it to me so we could post it when we post the video. All right?
Certainly. Like, any last words, Mr. Robinson, I'd like to just share to our kababayans in Guam?
Yes, again, KUAM, thank you very much for hosting this Zoom this morning. Over the years, the FCG has undoubtedly played a key role in mobilizing resource effort, raising significant amount of money to help the typhoon victims, not just here in Guam, in Saipan, but most of the time it's in the Philippines. And we are very, very thankful for, like I said earlier, we are very, very thankful to the generous people of Guam, because this money don't just come from the Filipino community, no. It came from the people of Guam, the whole people of Guam. When we have our Philippine Independence Ball, and sometimes I saw both of you down there, Sabrina, and you come to our balls, of course, people come and pay, and those money that they pay, we save it, and this is what they go. It goes to this these calamity funds, welfare funds, and others. So again, thank you so much, KUIM, for hosting this show. And it's, for all you know, it's tough. It's very tough, but somebody had to do it, and we will do it. The Filipino Community of Guam, with the help of the people of Guam, to the chairmanship of Roy as our chairman, Luis our vice chairman, and the other officers and the board of directors. And we know that our chairman of the board of trustees, Nita Baldovino, is not here. It's in the state, but she's still helping, calling her friend to donate. Yesterday afternoon, I went to a attorney friend of hers to pick up a donation, and also our good friend Emilio. We know what's happening with him, but let's pray for his fast recovery. And again, thank you so much. Like I said, it's tough, but we have to do it. Thank you, KUAM.
Yeah.
Thank you, James. Thank you. We're just here to help.
Thank you. People
Appreciate
of
it.
Guam.
All right.
Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Roy.
There you go. It's 8:54. We take a really short break, and we're coming back with. We had her on, Martha Hara. We had her on with her hubby Benny Parr. I want to say it was about 2-3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a very emotional interview. And it just came up the other night over dinner. People were asking me, "Hey, what happened to that guy Benny who came on and he was just so sick? Remember he had caught COVID twice, and he was so sick that he was seeing his dead grandmother, and that just hit so hard here. And I remember that on top of all that was going on with him being in the hospital, him fighting the COVID, that there were also questions about whether